Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. The U.S. envoy on Syria, James Franklin Jeffrey, has told allies at the Munich Security Conference that U.S. troop withdrawals will not be abrupt. But as the BBC's Sebastian Usher reports, the French defense minister is demanding reassurance that the U.S.-backed Syrian Kurdish fighters will not be abandoned after their forces defeat the Islamic State group.
The final battle by the Kurdish-led SDF against IS in Syria is drawing to a close. Several hundred IS fighters are holed up in the village of Barghuz by the Iraqi border. The offensive has been slowed over concern for civilians still held by IS. But the French Defense Minister Florence Parly has also expressed concern about the future of the Syrian Kurdish fighters once the battle is over. She says that Western powers like France have an obligation to the Kurds to ensure they don't become the latest victims of the Syrian war. The US forces that have backed them are due to be withdrawn, potentially leaving the Kurdish fighters unprotected against the threat from Turkey, which views them as terrorists.
President Trump declared a national emergency on Friday, a move that would allow him to redirect funding from the Defense Department and other federal agencies. Along the southern border, he's getting pushback over it. Lawsuits are being prepared, and homeowners along the border are worried that the government will use the process known as eminent domain to acquire land for the wall. Yvette Gayton lives along the border near the Rio Grande River. She received a letter from the government last year saying her property is in the proposed path for the wall. Here's what she told NPR.
I was in shock. I know that he kept saying he was going to do it, but we really didn't think he was going to do it because it really isn't an emergency. He said it himself. He didn't have to. He chose to do it. If those were his words, that means it isn't an emergency. He himself is admitting it just by having said that.
Victims of sexual abuse at the hands of priests are gathering in Rome this week to address clergy abuse in the Catholic Church. But Quincy Walters, of member station WBUR, reports that despite prominent Cardinal Theodore McCarrick being defrocked this weekend, many victims do not expect much to happen.
Anne Barrett Doyle is already in Rome. She's with Bishop Accountability, a Massachusetts-based group that keeps a database of accused predatory priests. She wants to be a voice for victims. Doyle doesn't think much will come of the summit in Rome this week, but she wants to speak to clergy and whoever will listen about what the church needs to do to atone for its decades of abusive priests.
They need a tribunal to judge guilty bishops. They need to make true zero tolerance universal canon law. They need to come clean about the abusers they know about.
Doyle says while it's great the Vatican is holding this summit addressing sexual wrongdoing, she feels it's something that's years overdue. For NPR News, I'm Quincy Walters in Boston.
And you're listening to NPR News. The attorneys for actor Jussie Smollett say there is no truth to reports that Smollett played a role in the reported assault on him. They issued a statement this weekend after police in Chicago said their investigation has shifted following the interrogation of two men who were once potential suspects. They were released without charge on Friday. Chicago police want to question Smollett again. Authorities in Paris are opening an investigation as outrage mounts in France after Yellow Vest protesters shouted anti-Semitic slurs at a prominent French intellectual. NPR's Eleanor Beardsley reports many feel the Yellow Vest movement is creating a climate of hatred and intolerance in the country.
Leave the country, dirty Zionist. France is ours. Yellow Vesters shouted when they ran into philosopher Alan Finkielkraut Saturday. The scene caught on camera spread on social media. Condemnation is pouring in from across the political spectrum. An outraged President Emmanuel Macron tweeted that the insults go against everything France stands for and will not be tolerated. The incident comes just days after the French government announced there's been a huge increase in anti-Semitic acts in the last year. The Yellow Vest movement has greatly diminished since it began in November, and there were only an estimated 4,000 people in the streets of Paris Saturday. But many say those still protesting are increasingly from the fringes of the far right and far left. Eleanor Beardsley, NPR News, Paris.
To Florida now. NASCAR is kicking off its season today. The Daytona 500 is being run with 8 rookie drivers in the field. I'm Giles Snyder, NPR News from Washington.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, a very beautiful and gorgeous good morning. I see my my board likes the song so much, I'm going to play it again for you. What a gorgeous day, my goodness. I woke up this morning to take my dog out, which is part of the routine we do, and it was for me. I'm a Florida boy. I get cold. If you talk to me in 60 degrees, you're cursing at me. And it was just perfect out there. Oh my gosh, I don't know what the temperature was. It had to be probably around 68 degrees or so. Crisp, and don't get to see it too often. A little bit of fog out there. I live in an equestrian area where there's a lot of horses, so it's kind of a open country area. And when we got out to that part of the neighborhood, quite a bit of fog out there. A little bit here in where all the houses are, but when we got out there in the kind of the country part, it's really nice, a nice change. So good morning to you. Thank you for joining me. Normally I have the one and only Pam Worth. She is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. She is usually here with me, co-hosting the show. I so much appreciate her time and her input. She's out fishing this morning. Hopefully we're going to hear from her around 9:20 when we take our open discussion break around 9:20. She's going to call in and tell us how things are going. And we have, let's see, what else have we got going on this morning? We're going to have Robert calling in. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine. Always appreciate Robert. Robert is one of my regular guests, and one of the reasons I enjoy having Robert on is he's up to date with the latest and the greatest, and it's, honestly, it's just, with all the other things that I have going on, it's easier to rely on somebody like Robert who has all of this information typically at his fingertips usually, can come on and share it with us and share it with you, the listeners. I have a new guest, Jeff Stenz. Jeff is from up north. I believe he's in the Wisconsin area. He's going to tell us what it's like to fish up north. I think he said when I spoke to him last, I think he said he had a foot of snow that came down wherever he was at. It's hard for me to imagine after walking out in the morning like today. And if you're here in South Florida, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Going to have the one and only, the Florida Salty Cowgirl. She'll be on with us. I'm going to have her on more and more because I don't have anybody down in the Keys. We used to have someone down there in the Keys that would tell us what's going on down in the Keys. And they have pursued a different line of employment, and so we don't have that anymore. So with Angela, I have somebody that is down in, she's in Islamorada, I believe. And so we have somebody who can tell us what's going on down in the Keys, which I always enjoy hearing about what's going on down in the Keys. Liza Fitzgerald, she missed it last week. She got tied up in a meeting and couldn't break free. She promises she'll be with us today. She's got some really exciting news, and I so much appreciate what she's doing. She's with, she's with Coastal Conservation Association. I keep seeing CCA, and I can't think of the words. And then we'll have Mike Simcoe. Mike will be, hopefully, Mike is actually out fishing this morning. He's out wahoo fishing. Mike is with kitefishing.com. I so much enjoy Mike because he really educated me about kites. I was very ignorant when it came to, I thought kites, come on, you guys, go fly a kite. Gee, what are you going to get? Well, I found out you're going to get a whole lot. And kite fishing can be very simple or can be actually very sophisticated, which was surprising to me. So we'll have Mike on here in just a little bit. In the meantime, I wanted to let you know if you would go to Facebook, excuse me, and give us a like. That would be great because that makes us relevant in all the searches. You can find us on Facebook, and it's the Fish Florida Show, of course. And give us a like. And then if you would kind of spread the word, because we are increasing our listenership, but I would like to see more people I would like to know that more people are listening in. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh, I constantly forget to tell people, if you know somebody who would like to listen to the show, but they don't have, for whatever reason, they don't have access to the internet, or they may be in an area where data is not readily available, or they have limited data. If they have unlimited calling, they can call in at 701-719-9704. That's strictly a call into listen line. You won't get into the into our studio here, but you can listen. And if you've got unlimited minutes, then it's excuse me, it's not a big deal. Let's see. So we'll be looking at. Oh my goodness! I see what I am having a problem here, and I just realized what it is. Let me just fix this real quick. We'll be looking for Robert to call in. He probably is trying to call in and going, Riscala, I'm trying to call in. What's going on? So give me a moment here, as I thought we were already there. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Robert, good morning. Robert, how are you, my friend? I'm sorry, I thought we had it set up.
Fish Florida show, stand by. Please keep your phone on mute. I will let you on in just a moment.
There we go. Are you there, Robert? Well, he was there. He'll have to call back in. Call back in, my friend. There he is. Robert.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
All right.
You getting over the flu?
Yeah.
You had the honor and the privilege of having the flu.
Yes, I do.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you sound okay.
Well, I'm going to survive. I just want to let everybody know today is the kids fishing tournament at Fish Eating Creek in Homestead.
Yay.
It's put on by the Miami-Dade Fire Department. Our friends Melanie House and Charlie Rogers are there. So everybody go down and support the kids. And thank you, Bimini Bay, for sending them some prizes.
Wow, I love to hear about stuff like that. You know what threw me off? You said Fish Eating Creek in Homestead. There was a Fish Eating Creek when I was a Boy Scout. We used to go camping at, but it wasn't in Homestead. It was up north somewhere, if I remember right. Is that the only Fish Eating Creek?
No, there's several of those, I believe. There's one in Fort Pierce, too, I believe. So.
Yeah, because I thought it was up north somewhere, and I kept going, wait a minute, how can it be down in Homestead? So that's great. It's down in Homestead, not very far from where I'm at, a place where I'm familiar with. I kind of grew up in that neighborhood, general neighborhood. And great for the kids. And thank you to all who participate and make it worthwhile for them. That's great. That's the kind of stuff that I like to hear.
So Pam's out on the water today somewhere?
She's going to call me around 9:20 and give me a fishing report and tell me how hopefully, because she's out on the water and we don't know how well it's going to work out there, but hopefully. She did some pre-fishing yesterday and said it couldn't have been any worse. She was not happy. I could tell she was not happy. And she's going to go back out today and do her thing. We'll see what happens here. We'll hear from her shortly.
Well, that's good. Where is she fishing out of? Do you know?
So I think it's on the East Coast up north somewhere. In Jacksonville?
Yeah, the East Coast up north would not be good yesterday. So.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fish being caught on the East Coast. There's some big wahoo coming in down in the Keys. And, snapper bite's been great. So, I don't know. They got those gigantic redfish this time of year up there in the big drum. So I hope she does well.
Wow. Mike Simcoe will be on later, and he's out actually this morning wahoo fishing somewhere off the East Coast. I don't know where. Possibly off of the West Palm Beach area, because that's his general area. But it could be a little north of there. It could be a little south of there. We'll find out in a little while. Yeah, he's out there wahoo fishing this morning.
There's a bunch of them being caught. A lot of cobia coming in, too, down in the Keys. So if the cobia are in, that means they're in everywhere. So, you can catch the cobia in close. You don't have to go out too far for them. You can sight fish for them in close to the beach. Look for the big manta rays. If they're around, they're always under them. But,
really? Now, see, that's something I've never realized. They commonly swim under the manta rays?
They always. If there's manta rays swimming, look underneath them. There's cobia near them somewhere. So.
Amazing. I remember seeing down in Biscayne Bay, I don't know if they're still as numerous as they were, but there were these huge, they were gorgeous. My gosh, some of them were 10, 12 feet tip to tip rays that would come through. And they would come through typically 6, 8 of them at a pop. It's an awesome thing to watch them come through. To see these, they like glide through the water. They're like birds of the water, if there is such a thing. Birds that could, fly in the water. That's what they remind me of.
Yep. But if you find those, you found cobia too. So.
Wow, I don't remember ever seeing that. But of course, I wasn't looking. We were more awed at the sight of these things coming through, and occasionally a couple of porpoises.
Yeah, this is the time of year for cobia. So like I said, they're not far out. They're normally in 30, 40, 50 feet of water. And
that's not
if there's a buoy or if there's a manta ray or something, they like manta rays and they like buoys, and they're not going to be far out there. You don't have to go out 10 miles to find the cobia. So
be prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a cobia story that from many years ago. We weren't prepared. We weren't. What am I trying to say? Hardware-wise, we weren't prepared. One of the kids, I call him a kid. He was probably 19, 20 years old. We were fishing. We were in a school of peanut dolphin, and there was a wide variety of fish around us. We had found, of all things, we had found a tree with no leaves left on it, but a huge tree with all the branches floating upside down in the water, and it was like a haven for all these fish. Well, there happened to be a cobia that was coming in and out, and I had told the kid, I said, "Look, you got an open bail. He's got an open bail fishing rod. Don't go for that thing. All you're going to do is you're just going to tear the hardware up. You're not going to be able to do anything." Well, inevitably, he hooked into it for about maybe a whopping 30 seconds, and it literally smoked it. He looked at me with this look like, "Oh my God!" He had. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what the size of the reel was, but it was small. It wasn't intended for that at all. So what I say is be prepared, because these things, if you don't have the right hardware, it'll literally smoke your hardware. I just looked at him like, I told you, dude. So yeah, had to toss that rod out. That reel, the rod survived, but the reel didn't survive at all. They run like a torpedo. My gosh, they're one of the fastest fish that I've ever caught. And the fight is unbelievable. Anyway.
And they normally save a lot of that fight for when they get in your boat, too. So.
All right, sucker, now you got me. Now watch what I can do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Floppy.
Yeah, you don't want a real green cobia in your boat. So.
I noticed that a lot of times when we would get them, again, this is years ago, when we get them near the boat, they would really freak. Even if you try to wear them out before you bring them up, the closer they get to the boat, the more they would freak, and then you would go through it all again. And if you don't have the hardware, you're just going to waste your time. It's going to be a depressing thought for you, because it's going to rip it apart. I was amazed. I was really amazed at how much power these things have.
But they are tasty.
Oh yeah. That's probably why they are tasty, because they're hard to catch. The harder ones to catch, is that part of the universal law of fishing? The harder the fish is to catch, the better it is to taste?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how that works, yeah.
So I want to ask you about the kids thing that's going on. Is that all day today?
Yeah. Is it what?
Is it all day?
Yes, it is. It's all day today, and like I said, it's done by the Miami-Dade Fire Department. They do a great job with this tournament every year, and Melanie Hausch, who is one of our friends and one of the co-captains with Charlie Rogers at Against the Grain Charters in Key Largo, she's a lieutenant in the fire department, and she is one of the people who helps put this on, and she does a great job with it. It's great stuff for the kids, and gives parents a way to get their kids out on the water today or out on the lake. It's actually at the lake. It's called Depot Lake. It's on Fishing Creek, but it's called Depot Lake, and it's a great thing for the kids.
Yeah, shoot. We're inundated with technology day in and day out. Some people, 24 hours a day, they got this little thing called a cell phone, and it's literally by their side 24/7. Get away from that stuff for a little while. It's going to be good for you. Go out and do some fishing, relax on the water. I always think of fishing kind of like a lottery almost. You don't know what you're going to catch. You could throw your line in and catch a really, really nice fish, and the next time you throw your line in, you wish you hadn't thrown your line in. So yeah. It's kind of like a lottery.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, could be a catfish, could be something.
That's right.
You just never know. The kids don't seem to care what they catch. As long as they're catching something, they seem to be happy.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. And
that's a good thing.
Typically, the age group of these people?
These are all under 12, I believe. So.
Oh, my goodness. Excellent. Wow. Do they provide the boats?
No, there's no boats. It's from shore.
Oh, okay.
It's from shore. It's at a big park there. And they've got a barbecue and all sorts of good stuff going on. So.
And it's Fish Eating Creek in Homestead.
Correct.
Do you know if there's an entry fee to get involved?
I don't believe there was.
Oh, my goodness.
No, there isn't. And the kids all get food for free. And,
oh, my gosh.
It's a great thing.
Wow. Once again, Robert, what's the name of it?
It's the tournament is just the Miami-Dade Fire Department's kids fishing tournament.
Okay.
And if they look on Florida Fisherman Magazine on Facebook, I just put up their sign again this morning. I had it up for all week, but I'd put it up again first thing this morning so everybody could see it. So.
Excellent.
And I'll put one on yours too. I think I sent you a copy of it.
Okay. Are you there?
And we'll get it up on Fish Florida too. So.
All right. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but I got most of what you said. I'm up against a break. You want to hang on, or you want to call it a day? I know you're having a hard time with your throat.
I'm fading fast, buddy. Yeah. But I appreciate being on, and everybody get out there and do something out on the water today. Go see the kids. Get yourself out, and find us at flfishmag.com anytime you want to look up some fishing stuff. So.
Robert, thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. I wish you well. I'm sorry that you're feeling bad, but I wish you a quick recovery there.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Brittany's face is so stupid and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it.
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 Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do. We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
We will let the world know that we're going to take action with the I.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is a gorgeous morning here in South Florida. I don't have my finger on the button for the weather, but I can tell you that on the map, my goodness, there's no clouds, no heavy clouds recorded on the map. Don't see any storms. It looks like the National Weather is calling out winds from 10 to 15 knots today, seas around 2 feet. Tonight it's going to drop a little bit, winds 10 to 15 knots. Excuse me. Seas again around 2 feet. So it's a gorgeous day if you're thinking about going out and doing some fishing out there on the ocean. A gorgeous day for that. Nice and crisp this morning. It's a few mornings that I really enjoy when I walk out the door and I don't feel like I'm walking into a sauna. Now, normally I would have Pam Worth with me. Pam is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida, and she brings a unique perspective to the table. She's usually my co-host, and she's out fishing this morning. I think she's off, in Jacksonville. We're due to hear from her later if she can call in. She's not sure where she's going to be out there on the water, if she's going to have service or not, but hopefully we will hear from her. My next guest is a gentleman by the name of Jeff Stentz, and Jeff is going to tell us a little bit about fishing in the cold country, because Jeff is up, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's up in Wisconsin. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Are you up in Wisconsin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought you were. I wasn't positive.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the state around Green Bay, Fond du Lac area. I'm originally from northern Wisconsin.
And you know, you heard me talk a little bit about the weather. What's it like up there?
Not like that. I kind of envy you. We currently are at 22 degrees, and that's kind of mild for this time of year.
22 degrees.
22.
Yeah, let me share this with you. If you were here visiting Florida and it was 22 degrees, you would see people bundled up like they were walking across the tundra.
Yes, sir. I've been down there years ago, and I was really surprised when it was like 60 degrees. I'd see people in sweatshirts and bundled up. And us northern people are walking around and going, wow, this is nice in T-shirts.
I have a friend of mine that lives in Wisconsin, and she's a Facebook friend, and we share a lot of the weather back and forth. And I tell her, you know, when it gets down to 60 here in Florida, now you're beginning to approach curse words to the Floridians, because 60 and below is like, take it back. No, that's not acceptable here. So
yeah.
when I'm talking to somebody like you, how many inches of snow did you get?
Where I'm at, we didn't get much. We got 8 inches.
Didn't get 8 inches.
Just north of here, they got over 20. 2 feet.
Holy smokes! Oh my goodness! Wow. Well, I was up in Minnesota many years ago. I was working for a 3M company, a distributor 3M company, and it snowed only 3 feet that night. And I will tell you, at 3 feet, cars literally became little bumps. You couldn't see the cars. It had buried the cars that quickly. So you're telling me 7 feet or 8 feet where you're at, I can't imagine coming out and a car's gone. Cars have disappeared. All you're seeing is snow. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you people are used to it, because my friend tells me it's no big deal.
Yeah, we we are used to it. When we get older, like what I'm approaching, getting closer to retirement, a lot of Wisconsin people, we think about Florida a lot. A lot of us will retire, and that's kind of my plan.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
I don't. So let me ask you about some of the fishing that's going on right now.
Yes, sir.
I was intrigued with the. Forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. Sturgeon? Are they sturgeon?
Sturgeon.
And they were harpooning them or spearing them or something?
Spearing them.
Yeah.
Sturgeon are very old prehistoric fish. They go back thousands and thousands of years. They've been here. The lake that they do this on is one of our biggest lakes in the state. It is the biggest lake in the state. It's Lake Winnebago. It's located just south of Green Bay. And it's a very large lake. It's probably similar to your Okeechobee Lake.
Wow.
It's 18 miles long by 9 miles wide.
Wow.
It's a unique fishery because of the bottom content is mud, and it is home to freshwater bloodworm, and the freshwater bloodworm is a high protein food source for the sturgeon, and this lake has grown them for, like I said, millions of years. It goes back to the natives, and it's kind of a tradition here to spear them, and it's like one of the only places in the country that I know of that allow it. It's a 16-day season, and what they do is they fish out of dark ice shacks, which are like a shed. They're anywhere from 6 feet to 8 feet, and they take chainsaws. Because now we're looking at about 22 inches of ice.
Wow.
So they cut a big square. They cut a big square in the ice with a chainsaw, and then they take a pole and they push that block of ice underneath the ice so it opens a hole, and then they drive the shack over the fish house over the hole, and they set up a wooden decoy, and people make them, and they make them all different colors. And a sturgeon is a real curious fish. It'll come up and look at stuff very slowly in the winter. The metabolism is slower. It swims slow. And they drop this decoy down 4 or 5 feet in the hole, and they hang the spear up from the top of the ice house, and they just sit there and watch. And it's almost like hunting. It's a tradition like deer hunting is here also. And they're going for a trophy. These fish get very, very large.
You aren't kidding.
There's thousands of them.
You aren't
Excuse
kidding.
me, sir?
I was saying you aren't kidding. There's a picture of this on the Facebook page. If you go to the Fish Florida show on Facebook, you'll see a picture of these things. We're not talking about minnows here. These things are. One of them is at least 6 feet long, at least. And I was intrigued at the entire process that was done in order to catch these fish, and they harvest them. They don't. It's not just a catch and release kind of thing, because they're speared. So, and they're not speared for game; they're speared for food. So it was very intriguing, the whole thing. To go, in Florida, it's hard for me to imagine going out 20 inches of ice, for Pete's sake, cutting a square in this thing, then dragging a little shed over it, and then waiting, for the magic moment to happen. That is like, and so how big is the square that they cut? Because it can't be as big. Is it 6 or 7 feet wide?
Yes, sir. It's.
It is.
I believe most of them cut them like 4 by 6.
Wow. So my next question is maybe silly, but isn't that a danger for anybody else who goes out? How long will it take for that to freeze back over again? It
can be, and they are required by the state when they pull up off the area, and if they move in that 16 days, or when the 16 days is over, they're required to stake that hole.
I see.
With wood slats.
Okay.
That gives us a little bit of warning.
Yeah, because I would be concerned. Again, if you go on the Fish Florida Show on Facebook, go to the Fish Florida Show, give us a like. You'll see a picture of what Jeff and I are discussing, and it is awesome. These fish they're huge, and I couldn't imagine sitting in the ice. For somebody here in Florida, and I'm looking out my window, and it's a gorgeous sunny day. There's hardly any clouds in the sky. It's got to be already in the 70s. Imagine people sitting in 20-degree weather, waiting for the magic moment. You talk about die-hard fishermen. My goodness. My hat's off to you, my friend. My hat's off to you and those who do that. So let me ask you about the fish itself. Is it a strong fishy taste, or is it everybody says it tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken. Or is it have a light, does it have a light taste to it?
No, it has a fishier taste to it.
It does.
And a lot of them will smoke them too.
Mm-hmm.
Smoked fish is very popular in this area. We smoke a lot of the Great Lakes fish, the trout and salmon, because they're oily. Anything that's oily or grows a long time is better smoked.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But they do steak them and grill them, and they utilize them just like we do for deer hunting. It's on a quota basis. They have to apply for permits.
Oh wow!
And they only allow so many, and if they spear that amount that the state allows in the 16 days or before the 16 days are over, they will shut the season down.
Oh.
There is a lot of them in this lake. I wanted to mention that. It's phenomenal of the number of them that are in here. They estimated at 44,000.
Holy smokes!
And
wow.
And they get over 200 pounds, 7-8 feet long, and 3 of them that I heard this year were the biggest. Last weekend were 171, 157, and 148.
And we're not talking just inches here. We're talking pounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pounds.
Amazing. Gosh. Wow.
I estimate those ones on the picture that I had posted with the link I shared, I estimate those at about 100 or over.
So now when the ice is gone and you're back to more like Florida weather, if there is such a thing there, is it all what am I trying to say? Is it okay to go fishing? Do you have to have a permit to catch them when you're fishing with a hook and line?
They are closed for hook and line fishing.
Oh my goodness!
There is a couple places, a few places in the state that do allow it in September.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not this water. This water is only open in spring, and that's how they control a number of them.
That's amazing.
They don't allow open water fishing. We fish for a lot of different other species, and many people catch them by accident.
So what happens if you catch one by accident? Are you required to let it go?
Yes, sir. We have to release it. We cannot possess it. We're not supposed to harass it or pull it out of the water.
Well, that's refreshing. It really is. That's good to know that there's a conservation going on like that. That's I'm ignorant. First of all, I don't live up there. But generally speaking, a lot of this stuff. This is why one of the reasons I do the show. I'm constantly learning. I've learned quite a bit already from you this morning. I appreciate you taking the time to call in, my friend. And I'll have you on from time to time. I think it's interesting to know what other people are doing, particularly way up north where 20 inches is, oh my gosh. Thank you, Jeff. Greatly appreciate it. I wish you a wonderful day, as wonderful of a day as can be in 20 inches of ice. But thank you. I greatly appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
All right, we'll have you on again.
Okay, thank you.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, my friends, going to take a quick break. Don't go away.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise? Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun. Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, a good morning to you out there, and thank you for taking the time to join in with us and kind of hopefully enjoy the information that we have. Can you imagine having somebody on like Jeff, 20 some odd inches of ice they're cutting through to go fishing? die-hard fisher people. For me, first of all, I wouldn't be there. But if you found me up there, I wouldn't be on the ice. I promise you. I'd be next to a heater somewhere, to a fire or something. I wouldn't be cutting a hole in the ice and waiting for the fish to show up. But that I found it very interesting when I spoke with him, and I thought you, the listener on the other side of the microphone, might find it interesting as well. Particularly because, we look at a day like today. My goodness, what is this? It's got to be in the 70s already, and the seas are settling down a little bit. They're saying seas less than 2 feet here off of where I'm at. Imagine that. All right, so let me move on to my next guest, who is always a pleasure to have on. She's always got something really interesting for me, and that's why I enjoy her so much. By the way, she is she'll correct me if I'm mistaken. She's a guide, but not only is she a guide, she is a super fisher person kind of. They call her the Florida Salty Cowgirl, and there's a reason for that. There's a video on the Facebook page that you can go watch, and watch this young lady really do a number on, and I think it was a wahoo on this particular one that she caught. Had it under control the whole time, didn't horse it in, and a really nice fish. Good morning, Miss Angela. Thank you for taking time to call in, my friend.
Good morning. Hey, and I'll also have you know, just to add it in, that not only did we get that wahoo in the boat successfully, but that was also caught on one of the JCAM Florida Salty Cowgirl custom lures. So,
oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's really nice when you catch a really nice fish like that on your own designed lure.
Wow.
So that's nice. Yeah. Double whammy good.
Congratulations.
Hey, and thank you. But I have to throw in real quick before we go on. I love the session about ice fishing, and here I am, a diehard Florida girl, and ice fishing is absolutely on my bucket list. And I'm allergic to cold. But Riscala, now they have these great little huts with heaters, and you don't even have to be exposed to the elements.
Think about
you can like sit in this great little hut in
he did say
in a lazy boy. So that's how I'm going to ice fish one day.
He did say that they cut a hole and then they bring I don't remember the word he used, like a little shack or something over the hole. But I didn't consider that you could have a heater and stuff to try to make it more comfortable. I'm just thinking.
Oh, they definitely make it more comfortable in there for themselves.
Yeah, I just, for me, just to be in the weather, I would probably be so multi-layered I couldn't walk. I'd waddle like a penguin.
Well, I had some charters in the last month or so down in the Keys, and it was so windy and so cold and so wet and so miserable that you would have thought we were up there. So, yes, we are definitely Florida people. But the weather has definitely gotten nicer. And thank goodness. We had a little bit of rain last week and wind for a couple of days, but it went right away. And the reef fishing has been phenomenal. I think the grouper know when grouper season shuts down because they start biting like crazy. Yeah, they know as soon as January 1st hits. So we were seeing a ton of big, beautiful grouper.
Oh, my goodness.
Bunches of the most gorgeous snapper. I mean, giant, big old flag, yellowtail, and gorgeous snapper. But we're getting a lot of really neat stuff lately, too. A lot of big blue parrotfish are coming in.
Wow.
A lot of angelfish are coming in. A lot of your really unique reef fish that people don't see a lot. And that's kind of really nice and interesting to see on social media. People get really excited when they see those beautiful lit up fish like that.
The parrotfish are very, very colorful.
Very colorful.
Now, do you know if anybody eats them? I've never eaten parrotfish.
Here's a funny thing. I posted a beautiful picture of a parrotfish on my Facebook one time, and I personally have never eaten one because I fillet all of my own fish. I'm very adamant about it, and I just have a thing inside of me. I can't put a knife into this beautiful fish.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
Very pretty.
I can't put it on the ice. I can't stick a knife into it. I feel like I'm doing something bad. So I personally have never eaten one. But when I said something about that on social media in like a fishing forum type of situation, I speak with people from all over the world. I find it very interesting to get other people's views. And people in the islands, in the Caribbean islands, that's one of their main food supplies is parrotfish. It's supposed to be white and mild and flaky, and it is their main food supply. They go to the market and buy, enough for the week down there. So they obviously do not have a problem putting a knife into one. But yes, this is to be phenomenal eating.
So correct me if I'm wrong. You're a guide, and you're down in Islamorada, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
yes.
Are you going to go out today? Today's a gorgeous day. My goodness, have you got anybody lined up?
I'm actually taking a personal day today. On today's Sunday, I'm taking a family day.
God bless you.
It's been gorgeous. Yes.
Nothing like the family.
It's nice to enjoy one of the beautiful days for yourself once in a while.
Yeah. I totally agree. It's great, and it's the best part of that I heard was family. So God bless you. That's great.
Yes.
So
thank you. But yes, the fishing's just been so darn good, and since the weather's been a little dicey, everybody's been doing a lot of reef fishing, a lot of sail fishing, kite fishing while they're reef fishing, and both have been pretty successful down there.
I'm going to have Mike Simcoe on in a little while. I don't know if you know Mike, but he's a JCam lure fan and a testimonial as well. But he's a kite fisherman, and he's out fishing for wahoo this morning, and hopefully he'll have time to call in and give us a fishing report. But I think he's off the East Coast somewhere near where I'm at, somewhere Palm Beach County. He's out there looking for some wahoo this morning, and we'll hear from him in a little while. So it's amazing that you brought up kites. Were you listening earlier to the show?
I was.
Oh, you were? Okay, so you probably heard that I had spoken about kites. So sometimes I have guests that call in, they're not listening to the show, and we're talking about a particular subject, and they bring that subject up, which is not related to, like what you just did. We were talking about something completely different. Out of the blue comes kites. So it's sometimes it really is. It's kind of scary. It's kind of spooky sometimes how the subject will come up from one person to another person, and they haven't been listening. So
there are so many consistencies throughout. Like if you want to talk about Florida fishing and this time of year, there are a lot of consistencies. Mm-hmm. Now there are a lot of differences depending on what you're going after. But if you're offshore and you're sail fishing, this time of year is the time of year, and kite fishing seems to be the most effective way to do it.
Yeah,
I personally am not an experienced kite fisher, so and I've caught many on the troll. So
get with Mike. You know what I like about people like you and Mike? Okay, you share your experiences, you share your knowledge with the average person, so that the learning curve for them is much shorter than it would be without that. Mike will give you all kinds of pointers, and I was amazed how simple it can be, but yet how sophisticated kite fishing can be. I always thought, kite fishing, what a joke. It's not. It's anything but that. It is really it increases your odds of being able to catch something tremendously. I was amazed.
Yes, and it's quite a finessey job. It's not something you can just slop out there. I mean, you really have to know what you're doing to do a good presentation with kite fishing. Like I said, I'm not a kite fisher, and I've observed it, and it's quite a talent. It's an art.
Yeah, he'll tell you all about it if you ever get interested, if you ever want to know. His name's Mike Simcoe, and he's with kitefishing.com. And he'll be on in a little while, and he'll give us some more specific info on that. So I had Robert on, Robert Warner with Florida Fisherman Magazine was on earlier, and he was telling me the wahoo are hitting down in the Keys, and I don't recall what else. Sailfish, I think he said, was hitting down the Keys, if I remember. I may be wrong. And you're telling me the reef action is strong. Any tournaments?
The reef action's very strong. He's absolutely correct. The wahoo are still hitting, and they're hitting good, and they're coming in nice size. The kingfisher's still hitting very nicely. And yes, it looks like daily the guys are getting the sailfish real nice.
Oh, my goodness.
Real nice. Good size ones, too.
Common baits that you're going to run for wahoo. What you're going to run a JCam lure for wahoo, like what you did earlier? You caught one on a JCam lure. Is that what you commonly do?
Absolutely. We actually have JCam, and then I did a few bright pink and chartreuse designs with Pete that we kind of collaborated on, and we call those FSC, Florida Salty Cowgirl. And so I use a combination of the two, but I absolutely usually, it's only smart to switch up what you put in your spread when you're trolling, and I'm definitely a troller, but I of course use a JCam or FSC skirted ballyhoo on my outriggers usually.
Okay.
But I also use Rapala diving lures, so that I can get some depth, because you want to fish your water tables.
Mhm.
You don't want to just fish the top. So I'll use some divers or use some planers to get some lures down.
Mhm.
And then I'll use a top lure too. I usually run about 5 lines when I troll. So you
Oh,
have
wow.
to mix it up to
Wow.
put a good presentation out there, because you never know what they're going to hit. One day they're going to hit pink, and they're going to hit pink all day. The next day they won't touch pink. All they want's green. And you never know. So you're always switching up your lures and kind of switching up your presentation. But you want to put a presentation out there in your trolling spread that's different. You want to put a kind of a variety out there, a variety of colors, a variety of different things, because you never know what they're going to hit. And of course, I will always put a J-Cam or an FSC lure out there. But if you don't put some other things out there too, you'll sell yourself short.
Many years ago, I haven't had my boat for too long, but anyway, many years ago, my friend who used to love, we called it pulling plastic, who used to love pulling plastic, he would take his lures and he would put them in a bag of ballyhoo and let that ballyhoo rot, literally just stink up a storm, and leave his lures in there with that for like a week, and then he would just take the lures out and we'd pull the lures, and I was surprised how he would sometimes come up with some really good stuff.
I'm giggling because I like your friend already.
I never.
That's the kind of stuff that I do, and people think I'm crazy.
Yeah. He had that bag, and he opened the bag up and said, "Oh my gosh, you're not bringing that on the boat." He goes, "No, I'm going to dump it here, but I just need to, keep them in there as long as I can." And it was pretty nasty smelling. I was surprised. Nothing's going to touch that. Are you crazy? Yeah, I was wrong. So these are some of the things that people like you share with others, and they go, "Wow, didn't think of that."
I couldn't agree more with your friend. I have other friends that when they go for dead baits, buying dead baits, pre-rigged ballyhoo or, any kind of frozen bait, they'll look for like what they think looks the freshest. I always look at the eyes, make sure the eyes look nice and silver.
Mm-hmm.
But I want them to look bloody. I really do. I want them to look bloody. And I think old stinky bait is the absolute best.
Wow.
There are times that you want a nice fresh bait if you're going to run a naked ballyhoo or something, but there's nothing like old stinky bait. And I'll tell you a cute little story. If anybody knows anything about yellowtailing, they know that you mix chum and oats the night before, and it's sort of a little mixture that you toss over the back of the boat, and it brings the yellowtail to the back of the boat. Well, I had usually the night before, I'll take a chum block out that's frozen, mix it with the water and the oats in a 5-gallon bucket, put the lid on it, and take it off the next day. For some reason, the next day, the fishing trip got canceled. And a few days later, I couldn't figure out where the smell was coming from.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you want to smell bad? Lift the lid on a bucket of chum that sat there for about 4 days in the heat.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
But I tell you what, it was when I did use it, it was the best chum I'd ever used in my entire life. You had to have a gas mask, but it was amazing.
That's called hazardous duty fishing.
Yes. The stinkier, the better. I don't know why.
I guess it carries
But
in
yes.
the water. They
And
have.
it's not true for all fish, but yes, it really is true a lot of the time.
So if somebody
you-
if somebody wants to reach you, Angela, how do they do that?
Florida Salty Cowgirl on Facebook is always a great place, and FloridaSaltyCowgirl.com. You can't miss me.
Is there a phone number they can call as well?
They can also reach me at 813-610-0078.
I
And
wonder-
please leave me a message and I'll get back to you, because
Wha-
usually I'm offshore.
Yeah.
I do believe my message says that.
It is impressive to watch her. Go watch the video. I have the best thing I can tell you. Go on Facebook, find the Florida Fish Show, and watch the video. It's impressive. She knows what she's doing, and she can
That's
take
flattering.
you out.
Thank you.
She can take you out, and she can share that experience with you. That's cool. I like that. She can.
Well, and I also really, really, really enjoy teaching people. I like newbies. I like people who want to learn. I really enjoy teaching people. So if you're inexperienced, I love to teach people.
Well,
I
thank
really
you for
have a
that.
good time with that.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to.
Women, kids,
Go
Bring
ahead.
them on.
Yeah. Robert also said there's some kind of a kids tournament going on down in Homestead. So if you know of anybody that wants to get involved in a tournament, they're having a kids tournament down in Homestead at Fish Eating Creek in Homestead.
That's awesome, too. I was looking at that. It's a phenomenal little event.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I definitely will spread the word on that.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to having you on more regularly because I don't have anybody down in the Keys to tell me what's going on like I did before. And you fit in so perfectly, and you're always so informative. Thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, Estella. It's always my pleasure.
Oh, God bless you. Wish you a wonderful day. My friends, don't go away. We will be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself. What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying. That's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation. Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478. Diane Whittick at Bowen Realty, located in Wellington at Wellington Trace East and Forest Hill Boulevard. 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclubb.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Okay, my friends, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and a privilege to be with you. I am your host, Riscala. If you're just tuning in and you've missed part of the show, we do archive the show. You can find it at fishfloridashow.com, and always the archives are located there. We've got them located a couple of other places, but that's probably the easiest place to find them. And you can always listen to the show a variety of ways. Don't forget that we have a free app, the Fish Florida app. Absolutely free. It's not, what irritates me with some of these people is a free download. So yeah, it's free to download it, but then when you go to use it, you have to pay. Our app is not like that. Our app is absolutely free. It's free to download. It's free to use. It's a powerful tool in the palm of your hand that will give you a wide variety of information. If you are planning to go out that day, if you're planning to go out and doing anything really outdoors, it is a powerful tool to have in the palm of your hand. You can listen to us on the Fish Florida app as well, fishfloridashow.com. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're having a difficult time with the internet for whatever reason, you can actually call and listen if you've got unlimited calling, or maybe you've got a landline and you want to put it on speakerphone, 701-719-9704. You can listen all you want. It's just a listen-only line. You won't be able to talk to the guest or myself, but you'll be able to listen, and just trying to make it easy for everybody to find us. So my next guest has some very exciting news. This is the kind of stuff I love to tell people about, how there are other people out there who are helping our environment grow, and really taking the bull by the horns when it comes to being responsible about seeing to it that future generations are going to enjoy the water around us. And of course, that guest is Eliza Fitzgerald, and she's with Florida Coastal the Coastal Conservation Association here in Florida. Good morning, Miss Liza.
Well, good morning, Riscala. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm very excited to have you on because I wanted to share with the listeners something that you're doing that really is a passion for me, and that is to generally leave this place better than it was when we came for the next generation. And that's something that you're working very diligently on, and I greatly appreciate that. Share with the listeners what it is that's going on.
Well, Riscala, on many fronts, we're working to improve habitat. We have a water quality component to our organization and a committee that works specifically for water quality. But I know what you're talking about is our restocking and recovery based on the red tide.
Right.
Southwest Florida was decimated, our fish population, hurt very badly by the red tide. And our organization, Coastal Conservation Association Florida, wanted to do something about that, not only just trying to improve the habitat and water quality, but make sure that our recreational anglers have fish to catch in the future and help establish the fish stock. So in partnership with Duke Energy and the Fish and Wildlife Commission, FWC, we were able to put together a program where we're releasing 16,000 and possibly up to 18,000 juvenile redfish in Southwest Florida counties, starting in Pasco. We've already released 2,000 in Pasco, 2,000 in Hillsborough, and 2,000 in Pinellas County. And those fish are of a larger size. They're not fry. They're actually in that 4 to 6 inch class range. So they have a pretty good survival rate. And, we had a biologist with us from Duke Energy. Duke Energy donated all of those fish. But we had a biologist with us. They chose the location of where those fish would be, making sure that they would have proper habitat, great place for them to hide and grow up. And then we also went one step further with our redfish restocking in that we were releasing approximately 25 breeder redfish in each of those counties. And we still have more releases to go, Riscala. We have Charlotte County on March the 6th. We have Lee and Collier County, each of those counties getting 2,000 fish, as well as Bradenton and Sarasota. And those counties are also getting the large breeder redfish as well. So it's a huge initiative, a lot of fish being put back in the water and getting the opportunity to kind of be a seed for future anglers to catch lots of fish. So that's one of the programs. And so another one is for you snook anglers, we're also going to be putting 5,000 juvenile snook into the waters in Southwest Florida. And Moat Marine Laboratories is helping us with that. And CCA is raising.
I'm losing you a little bit there. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Liza. You're in and out.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I am actually in Miami at the Miami Boat Show trying to find a good location for cell phone service.
Yeah, cool. How is the boat show, by the way?
So, you know, the boat show is amazing. If anyone has not been to the boat show, it is simply a spectacular location to see lots of different boats. They have a great conservation village here where all of the conservation organizations are together and talking about what we're all doing in order to improve our fisheries and our water quality and our habitat. And it's just so nice to see so many different organizations for, you know, billfish, redfish, inshore and offshore species, as well as, you know, just the environment in general. So it has been really interesting.
I have yours organization is the first organization, and of course I don't pretend to know it all. One of the reasons I do this show, I say it many times, is I learn all the time. But your organization is the only organization I've heard of, at least recently, that is actually going out there and restocking. Is there anybody else doing what you're doing that you know of?
Well, yes, Florida itself, the FWC and FMRI, used to stock redfish in Tampa Bay. I was excited because I was very instrumental. I released the 1 millionth redfish into Tampa Bay with Governor Jeb Bush back in 2010 or 11.
Wow.
And it was an amazing experience, yes. And there, with the help of us, getting people to see that restocking is really a great plan. FMRI is coming back on board. There is a hatchery over in the Ruskin area, and they're going to be improving their hatchery, and they too will be releasing additional fish. So it's you know, it's not unique and new. Our organization just brought it back to the forefront. But you know, Riscala, CCA, Coastal Conservation Association, has been around since 1985, and our organization focuses on habitat projects, fisheries issues, all of these things that affect recreational anglers. And we've been doing that for a very, very long time. And we aren't in just one specific area. There are many organizations and great organizations that focus on specific projects. And we have projects and habitat issues all over the state of Florida that we're working on.
Well, I want to thank you for that, because I'm a firm believer in trying to leave the environment in a better condition than it was when we came here initially. And that's not going to happen with some of the ways that we've been doing it. And then people like you step up to the plate. So I'm greatly appreciative. You know, I do the show and I learn all the time. I had no idea that there were hatcheries. You said, where, Ruskin?
Ruskin, Florida.
Yeah,
it's a state hatchery.
So I don't know where that's. Is it on the West Coast?
On Tampa Bay. It's on the west. It's on the west edge of Tampa Bay, and it's a FWC hatchery. But also there's a mariculture center up in Crystal River, and that's Duke Energy's mariculture center, and they've been stocking spotted trout and redfish in the Crystal River area in Citrus County for ages. So
wow.
they've done a great job of releasing fish there as well. And it's been simply amazing, the amount of fish and the works that Duke Mariculture Center has done, that FMRI and the FWC, and now with our impetus and all that's been going on and the fundraising efforts that we've been able to put additional fish into the water. And although, you know, we may have some naysayers that say, hey, you know, what good is that going to do? One breeder redfish, when she spawns, will have 1 million eggs. And every little bit counts. Mother Nature just needs a little help.
Yeah.
And if we can provide her the help that she needs to get our fish stocks back up, you know, she's an amazing force.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been fishing out in Charlotte Harbor, and the amount of juvenile redfish and juvenile snook that we're catching and seeing is just so encouraging to me. I just can't tell you how exciting it is that we do see so much coming back. And, you know, with Moat, who is the foremost authority on red tide, I think everybody's really working towards having some solutions that are going to make a difference.
I think that I hope and pray that there are going to be some severe differences coming up here. You're probably very well aware as soon as the governor took office, he took some serious steps in seeing to it that hopefully more responsible people are in charge of the discharges out of the lake, which I believe were one of the root causes of what they called the red tide. You know, it may have started as red tide on the West Coast, but what they were discharging was almost like vitamin steroids for the red tide. So we got to stop doing things like that. And I think that hopefully this new governor who stepped in and demanded the resignation of these people who have been in office for God knows how long, and very irresponsible with their actions, didn't want to hear what other people had to say, didn't really care. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm not trying to be political. That's just the truth of the matter. So hopefully there are going to be some very serious changes. And I would respond to somebody who would ask me, what good does it do? I would respond with, well, what harm is it going to do?
Exactly. I look at it as a glass that we're trying to fill up, and every drop counts. So every effort, the cleanups that we do, the habitat projects, we have over 34 habitat projects, close to $1 million in collaboration and habitat projects that were put in the water just this year alone through Coastal Conservation Association. So our organization, works with other organizations to make things happen. So if anyone of your listeners has a project that they're working on and they need a conservation organization to partner with them, we'd love to hear from them. They can go online and go to ccaflorida.org and reach out to us. That's how we get things accomplished. It's in partnership and working together to make things happen. The nearshore and offshore reefs that we do, grass planting, oysters. Riscala, we put in acres and acres of oysters, and they're filter feeders.
Absolutely.
We're working with Sarasota Bay and putting in hundreds of thousands of clams, and those are also filter feeders, and they feed on algae. Red tide is an algae.
Yeah.
Blue-green algae. They feed on those things. So the more we can do to improve water quality, that we can do to improve the habitat, we're going to have great success. We've just got to keep striving. And you're right. Our governor, this is my personal opinion, not that of my organization, but our governor, he's doing some great things. And I'm hoping that, his letter to Trump and to the federal government asking for $200 million in conservation dollars should make a difference.
Yes, absolutely. And and again, with people like you who are out there truly making, when you're talking about tens of thousands of baby fish being released in different areas, that has got to be a super boost to the marine life in that area, and a super boost to us when these fish grow up. This is dinner. This is a great time for some kids when they go out there and fishing. Oh my gosh, Dad, look what I caught. Everybody wins.
And redfish grow so fast. You can have an 18-inch redfish in less than 2 years.
Wow.
From those fish that we release in less than 2 years, we'll have an 18-inch redfish.
Wow.
By year 4, year 5, those fish are over 26 inches. So, redfish are really just the fish that people come to Florida to try and catch. So I apologize for all the background noise. As I said, I'm at the Miami Boat Show.
Very, very little in the background noise. You just broke up a couple of times, or you may have been in a sparse area. All right, my dear.
Okay.
I'm up against a break, but before I go, one more time, very slowly, if somebody wants to reach you or get involved, how do they do that?
So they can reach out to me at www.ccaflstar. That's Captain Lisa Fitzgerald. You can reach out to me there. If they want to reach out to our organization, it's ccaflorida.org. ccaflorida.org.
Thank you so much, my dear. Looking forward to having you back on. I love the news that you have brought today. This has just really made my day, honestly. Not just kind of, patting you on the back. I mean it. It was really great news. Thank you for sharing. Greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Riscala, and thanks for all you do to get people educated to what we need to do. And I always say, if you're one that's sitting there not doing anything and hoping someone else will, you're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, I say if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the pollution.
Well, very good. Well, you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am.
And take care of yourself.
Okay,
Thank
folks.
you.
It's that time, folks.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, my friends, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and a privilege to be with you. Thank you for taking time to tune in. And a big thank you to those of you who have helped spread the word on how to reach us. Many different ways you can listen to the show on fishfloridashow.com. Click on Listen Live. Go to the Facebook page. Click on Contact Us. Don't have either one of those available to you. You can actually call in if you have unlimited calling or a landline, 701-719-9704. And if none of that works out for you for whatever reason, you can always download the app. The app is absolutely free. I get tired of this. It's a free download, and you download it, and then you go to use it. And, oh, no, but you got to pay us now. It was free to download, but now you got to pay us to use it. Our app is not that way. Our app is absolutely free to download, free to use. You'll have a pretty awesome tool in the palm of your hands that will help you with regard to going on the outdoors. I believe I have Pam with me. Pam is usually my co-host with me, but this morning she's involved in a tournament. She's out there on the water somewhere, and hopefully she's going to share with us some great news. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Hi, how are you doing today?
We're
that was
doing
an excellent interview with Lisa.
Yeah, I was so what's the word I'm looking for? It's like my heartstrings, you know. I was so happy to hear what they're doing, particularly after, you were with me when we were doing this special show about what was going on the West Coast, and the decimation that was happening was just so very, very disturbing, concerning, and now we have this, and so this is like an uplift. This is like a booster shot in the arm, if you will.
Yep. And then they come back. If we just do, a little bit of conservation, fish are resilient. They'll come back.
I agree because, the testimonial of that is I go back to the two young men that I had from the West Coast, and they were having a degree of conservation about the snapper because the snapper species was just literally being wiped out. And they went, I don't know how many years they went, however long it took. But the bottom line was, due to that conservation, their report when they came back and they were diving, they said the snappers are everywhere. So it does work, and it's a wonderful thing to do because, again, we leave it better than it was when we were here. That is really, for me, that's what it's about.
Yep, I agree.
So
I was fishing one place, and I caught the fish that I needed to fish. So now I'm moving to the second place to try to catch another species of fish. But IFA rules say I can't tell you where I am, where I'm going, and if I've caught something. Oops,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, but can you tell me, are you in North Florida? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes, I'm in North Florida. I'm fishing the IFA Jacksonville tournament.
I thought it was Jacksonville, but I wasn't sure.
Northwest Florida, Northeast Florida.
And how is the weather up there?
Yesterday was horrible. Today was gorgeous. What a beautiful day when I launched this morning.
Well,
I'm running into, looks like a little bit of fog now, sea fog, but that's not a big deal.
I looked at, as I do every Sunday morning, I check the weather, I look at the radar, and the state of Florida, generally speaking, was pretty clean. There wasn't very little cloud cover and very little of any rain issue going on in the state. So today we're living up to our name, the Sunshine State. It appears to be, at least on the radar map, We have got sunshine. At least 95% of the state is covered in sunshine today.
Yep.
Well,
It's a beautiful day out here. Hey, any day I can be on the water is a beautiful day.
Any day on the water is better than the best day at work or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So is it cool up there?
I'm looking forward to this. Yesterday, the boats came in. On the IFA, the boats go Saturday and the kayaks go Sunday. And yesterday, they sent out, I think, 100 entries, and I think only 33 boats came in and weighed in.
Wow. 1/3. Wow.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask you, is it nice and cool this morning when you went out?
Yes, I'm wearing 2 shirts and a sweatshirt.
Is it still cool?
I'm a wimp.
I'm a bigger wimp. Is it still cool where you're at, or is it warming up pretty quick?
It's warming up, but this morning was more moisty cold than it was windy cold. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The humidity.
As soon as the sun started to come out, it warmed up right away.
Cool.
And I'm a half a mile, just so you know, I'm a half a mile from my destination in case my phone tells you where to go.
Well, I certainly want to wish you the best out there, and try to have mercy on the other ones. I know how you are once you get that line wet. Try to save some fish for the other people while you're out there now.
I just hope I catch 1 redfish and 1 trout.
Is that what your
That's my goal.
Is that what your goal is today? How long do you plan on being out there?
Well, I have to weigh in is at 3:00.
Oh, okay.
So I have to be back in North Jacksonville by 3:00.
Okay.
So it just depends. Trust me, as soon as I catch the next fish I need to catch, I'm headed to Jacksonville.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I want to wish you well out there. Good luck, tight lines, and looking forward to having you back. Will you be back available next Sunday?
Absolutely. And I'll text you what's going on and send you photos.
Yeah, great. I just got a text from Mike Simcoe, who's my next guest coming up, and he says he doesn't think he's going to be able to call in because he's in a very sparse area. He's out there fishing with J-Cam lures and looking for wahoo, and he said he would text me in a little while and give me an update on his success or non-success. But he said, unfortunately, I think where I'm going, I'm not going to have any cell service, so I'm telling you now, I'm not going to be able to call in. That's all right. We'll work it out. All right, my dear. Well, I wish you well out there. Be safe, as always, and looking forward to having you back on. Looking forward to hearing what you did today, the overall results, because I'm sure that you, as always, you always do well. And I think she just dropped out, so I hope she got to hear what I said. She always does seem to, and I'm not the only one who says she's the number one. She went out to, I can't remember the name of it. It was out in Alabama, I think, if I remember right. A tournament out there, and they called her one of the top anglers, not even a female angler, just one of the top anglers out there in Alabama land. So that's some of the joys that we have doing live shows. I know she's out of the area now, so we're not going to be able to reach her. In the interim of that, I'm going to play a little music. This is one of the young ladies I met when I was doing AM radio here in West Palm Beach. Was on 900 AM radio here in West Palm Beach, and this was one of the young ladies I met and was very impressed with not only her talent, but her. She is just an amazing person. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it's refreshing to see the younger generations come up and do something with the talent, God-given talent that they've got. I actually asked her about maybe using this song, but we ended up having a guy write the song for the show. But enjoy this. This is Maggie Bow, and the song is called Catch Me.
My review. This highway reminds me of you. This empty seat beside me keeps calling out your name, and the way the taillights keep on shining on that life I left behind me. Every mile, every sign is reminding me why I ain't turning around this time. If you miss me already, steal the keys to Daddy's car, baby, come and get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. I drive a little slower, but there's no way I'm pulling over. Cause these wheels, they started rolling, and they ain't ever gonna stop. I gas it up, hit the road, got a long way to go, baby, burn the black top. If you miss me already, ready, steal the keys to your daddy's car, baby, come and get me, get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. So catch me if you can, and catch me if you can, Oh, I'm not trying to hide, I'm out here in the wide open. If you miss me already, ready, baby, come and get me, get me. If you miss me already, ready, steal the keys to your daddy's car, baby, come and get me, get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. Well, I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. So catch me if you can, and catch me if you can, if you can, if you can.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge, Flea and tick dip's also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, my friends, finishing up the last portion of the show, and I want to thank you for taking the time to, let me share with you. For me, it's always a learning experience. I hope that you on the other end of the microphone are at least interested in what we're doing. Our subscriber base has increased quite a bit lately, and so I believe that we're on the right path. Just try to give people an option. Growing up for me, fishing was something that was kind of one of the staples of our family, if you will. It wasn't so much for the seafood, although we loved seafood. It was for the experience. It was for us going out as a family, enjoying the same experience together. And I believe it helped tremendously keep the bonds of our family, because I believe that families are under direct attack, has been for many decades. And just take a look around, you'll see what's going on. Anyway, Mike Simcoe with kitefishing.com is due to call in. He was my next guest. He was kind enough to send me a text and said, I'm sorry, I think I'm going to be in an area. As a matter of fact, he says, I'm sure I'm going to be in an area that he's not going to be able to call in. He was actually due to return at 9:30. But the fishing expedition has taken a little longer than expected, probably most likely due to a lack of success. Sometimes it's like a lottery to me. It's like a lottery. You can go out there and catch a great eating fish. The next fish you catch could be, oh my gosh, why did I bother wasting my time throwing the line in? So I'm sure he'll update me as time goes on. But he's going to be in an area where, unfortunately, he's going to be out of touch, so he's not going to be able to call in. In the interim of that, if any of you out there want to call in, want to share something with me, I'm going to open the phone lines up for you. The phone number is 561-440-5174, 561-440-5174. Feel free to give me a call if you have a comment, a question, or something like that. You'd like to hear something on the show. If you think you know somebody that would make a good guest, an interesting guest on the show. I'm still looking for, I'd like to have like a regular that would come on and tell us about what's going on at the bottom of the ocean. I've had the opportunity to have a couple of people who are divers and kind of given us their their view of what's going on. A couple of young gentlemen on the West Coast were kind enough to share with us, but I've really not had a whole lot here on the East Coast. A couple of people called in. Tony, who is a phenomenal photographer, by the way, Ludovico, I think I hope I said that right. I hope it's the right name. But you can find his artwork on the Facebook Fish Florida show on Facebook. An amazing man. So I don't know how he does it. He literally gets within inches of some of these fish, and some of the pictures that come up are just, I don't know how he does it. Some people have a calming nature about them. They can walk up to animals and just be friends with animals, where other people walk up to the same animal and the animal is not friendly at all. I guess he's one of those people because he's able to get right up to the fish and take some phenomenal pictures. One of the other people I had that was doing stuff underwater was Stephanie Lynn, I believe her name is. An amazing young lady. There's a picture of Stephanie on the Facebook page again. You'll see her swimming with what appears to be a tiger shark. And I think the shark, if I'm not mistaken, looks to be at least 12 or 13 feet long. She's not swimming with tanks. She's snorkeling, and she's not very far from this thing, probably 15, 20 feet from it. You couldn't get me in the water. I wouldn't jump in the water with this thing, let alone be in the water with it. She's one of the other people that we've had on. But I'm kind of looking for somebody that is like a regular diver. So if you know somebody who's a regular diver, preferably on the East Coast, but I'll take either one so we can get an idea what's going on down there at the bottom. Somebody who's a regular diver, goes out there on a regular basis and give us an idea of what's happening. Because, for most of us, we're on top of the water. And we're fishing from a completely different perspective. It would be interesting for me, and I believe for those who listen to the show, know what's going on down at the bottom. Hear it firsthand kind of thing. Yes, I go down and I've been here and I've been there and this is what I'm seeing. I do know from friends of mine who dive occasionally that the lionfish, the species of lionfish, the population here off of West Palm Beach has gotten out of hand. These fish are very invasive, and they're really doing a lot of damage. I'd like to find out from divers some of the things that they're doing to help. I have some friends who go down, that's all they go for. They'll just go down and spear lionfish. And they tell me, Riscala, they're down there like if you took pepper and just took a pepper shaker and shook it on something. That's what they're just dotted on the bottom down there with lionfish. And from what I understand, they're good eating. I always thought that there was a bad eating fish. I don't know why I had that impression, but from what I understand, they're very good eating fish. And I also thought they were very poisonous. From what I understand, that's not exactly true. You can get poisoned by them, but it's not like deathly kind of poison. I learn. Always learning. This is why I enjoy doing this show, because it's my little part to society to give society an option to do something. Put down, I think it's Robert Warner with the Florida Fisherman Magazine who says, put down the X boxes and pick up the tackle boxes. The experience is well worth it. It is well worth it. And, it's a lifelong experience. That's the other thing. I'm in my 60s, and I still remember some very fond memories of my dad driving us across the state. We lived in Miami at the time. He drove us across the state to Naples. That's one particular one I'm thinking of. And spent a weekend in Naples, and they had a beautiful pier there. I haven't been there in years. I don't know if the pier's still there, but it was a gorgeous pier and great fishing and free. I don't know if it's still free anymore. Hardly anything is free anymore, but it was free then. And we spent the weekend there fishing and caught tremendous amounts of fish and had a phenomenal experience. One of the things I remember, I was probably 10 or 11 years old, so these kids were around my age. They're probably 10, 11, 12 years old. They were walking around asking people for the carcasses of the mullets. A lot of people would use mullet and cut mullet for bait. And, the carcass that's left behind the head and the backbone. And they were asking people for that. And I thought, how silly. Well, you can't do anything with it. So I don't know how many they got. Watched them carry this rope with a huge hook on the end of it down towards the end of the pier and throw it overboard. Put these carcasses on, 3 or 4 of them on the hook, and throw it overboard and walk away. They just walked away. And meanwhile, I'm fishing. I'm having a good time. I'm catching fish here and there. About every 15 minutes or so, I'm catching another fish. So I'm kind of interested in my own thing going on. And then this big commotion goes on. And I look down at the end of the pier, and these kids are back. And there's all these people around them. And big commotion, crowd quickly building. And, you know, me, curious kid, I look over the railing and they're pulling on this rope. And I go, they got jammed on. My first thought was they got jammed on the piling, you know, because they were pulling and pulling. It didn't seem like it was wanting to come up. After about 15 minutes of this, they pulled up, I think it was, if I remember right, it was a 500 and some odd pound, what we called at the time Jewfish, and people don't like that name, I guess, because Jew is in there, but that's what we called them back then. Goliath groupers is what they're called now. It's nothing racial or anti-Semitic about it. It's just what they were called back then. Anyway, they pull up this huge fish. This thing had a mouth so large it could easily swallow me. I'm not kidding you. And the first thing that happened, I remember, is that as soon as the lifeguards found out that this thing had been hooked, they cleared the beach because these guys were not about to try to pick this thing up and lift it over the railing. They were dragging it alongside of the fishing pier. And as they got closer to the shore, more and more people were clearing the water because they were worried if this thing got loose and was ticked off, it could literally swallow somebody. I'd never seen a mouth so big. They got it up on the shore, and within minutes, somebody from this was long before we had all the regulations and stuff in place. Somebody from one of the local restaurants came in and bought that fish right there on the spot for their restaurant. I don't know what they paid. I have no idea, but I guarantee you those kids who took a rope and some carcasses from, you know, people were going to throw away and probably made themselves at least $100 back then. This is a long time ago. And $100 back then would probably be like $500 or $600 now. What a heck of a day at fishing, right? What an experience for me, and I wasn't even involved in it. I was flabbergasted. They were clearing people off of the one side of the pier so that they could have room, asking people to bring in your lines. If you've got live bait down there in the net, bring it up, get it out of the way. We're going to be dragging this thing down. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Those are the kind of things I like to promote because everybody wins. Those kids won. I was excited to watch. It was something like, oh my gosh, it's like something out of the movies for me at that age. Again, the size of the mouth of this thing is what really I remember the most. It's got to be at least 40 years ago. And I remember this thing was so big, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if somebody were to fall over, if that thing got loose on the beach, it could literally swallow somebody. That's how big that mouth was. And then the amazing part was they no sooner got it up on the sand and somebody came out and bought it right off their hands. Boom. We'll pay you whatever it was. And they were happy to do it because what are they going to do? Two kids, what are they going to do with a 500-pound Goliath grouper? My goodness. Some of the greatest memories. Going down to the Keys was one of my dad's favorite things. There is I don't think it's open anymore, but it's a bridge down there called Card Sound. They had built a special pier, a catwalk, I think is what it's called, underneath the bridge. A lot of the places where you go fishing in the Keys off the bridges, the place that you fish is just as high as the bridge. This was unique in the sense that it was down below the bridge. It was almost at the water's levels, just maybe 10 feet off the water at the most. Presented a unique experience for people. I think it was $1 to go over the bridge, and it was free at that time. I've heard that they've closed it down for whatever reason, but again, great experiences. It doesn't cost much to do. You do it as a family. You all experience the same thing. In experiencing the same thing, hopefully what's happening is the bonds of the family are increasing because of the ever constant pressure on tearing the families apart today. This is the kind of thing I like to promote, where everybody wins. You know, I talked with Liza Fitzgerald about what they're doing. Everybody's going to win. They win because they have the satisfaction of knowing they've done their part to help our environment. The people who fish in a couple of years from now, they're going to win because those fish are now been at an age where they can harvest them. Again, it's a win-win situation. Anytime that I can promote that kind of thing, I'm all for it. I'm all for everybody winning. When I try to work deals in my business, which I wish I could tell you radio is how I make my money, but it's not. Radio is how I make satisfaction in my life, how I feel like I'm doing my little part, whatever that part may be, in trying to make society a better place for everybody, an improved place for everybody. So when I do my regular business, my 50-hour-a-week job, I try to work deals where everybody wins. I win because I make a profit, and the customer wins because he benefits from whatever it is that I'm doing for them, whether it's a service or a product or whatever that might be. So the same thing is true here in Radioland. I try to fix it so that everybody wins. When we hear about people like Betty with Ladies Let's Go Fishing, she takes, I know from personal experience. I was married for many years. When I first got married, my wife didn't want to touch dead fish, for bait. They didn't, and let alone a live fish. Catch a live fish, get that thing away from me. It would have been great to have somebody like Betty around back then, because I think part of it is the intimidation. It's, we know generally speaking, it's a male-dominated industry, and females play a very important part. People like Betty who go out and teach, ladies, there's as she says, there's no yelling, there's no intimidation, there's just learning and hands-on kind of learning. So that kind of stuff, everybody wins. If you have, in my family, my mom loved fishing. If you wanted to give her a choice of what would you like to do, would you like to go to Hawaii, or would you like to go fishing, or would you like to go Hawaii fishing? Then she would do. But if you said, would you like to go Hawaii on a vacation and go to the beach, or would you like to go fishing? Can't go fishing in Hawaii, but you can go there and have a good time and enjoy the beach. No, I would rather go fishing. She would. She enjoyed it that much. That's the kind of thing that I try to promote. Something for the family to do. Again, like Robert says, and I love it, put down the Xboxes, pick up the tackle boxes, go out there and have a good time. Today's a gorgeous day here in South Florida. If you plan on staying inside today, you are doing yourself a major disservice. It is absolutely wonderful. I think it's going to get up into the 70s today, a very light wind. So if you want to go out on a boat, I think the seas at this time right now are 2 feet or less. And probably going to remain that day that way for the majority of the day. So if it's something that you're thinking about doing, stop thinking. Get up and do it. Get up and do it. Remember that we have a free download for the Fish Florida show. It's a free download. It's called the Fish Florida app. Again, I want to stress to you, it is free. It's not a free download and then you go to open it up and go, oh, it's $5.95 or whatever it is. No, it's free. Free to download, free to use. Powerful tool. Makes it easy for you to listen to the show whenever you want to listen to the show. Provides a wide variety of information in the palm of your hands. That's one way you can listen to us. Go over to Facebook. Tell your friends you can find us on Facebook. Click on Contact Us. You're not going to be able to contact us. Well, you will, kind of in a sort of kind of way. By clicking on Contact Us on Facebook, you actually have a link to the live stream. So you listen to the show live. Or you can go fishfloridashow.com and click on Listen Live. We try to make it easy for you, and I am so appreciative of all of you who take the time to listen in on Sunday mornings. I know sometimes you got something better to do, and that's why I try to make it interesting for everybody. For me, it's always learning. I'm always open to learning, always. That's the kind of thing that I do. I benefit, and then the person who's sharing the information benefits knowing that they have helped in some way, whatever that way may be. Together we can get a lot of stuff done, just like Liza was saying earlier. When people get together, we can get stuff done. It's amazing. Tens of thousands of baby fish being released. And then I think of Captain Neil, I can't think of Holland, Captain Neil Holland. They go around picking up crab traps, abandoned crab traps. Again, cleaning the environment. Who's going to win? Everybody's going to win. That's the kind of stuff that I love promoting. I love getting involved with, because everybody wins. When we can make it so everybody wins, everybody's happy. There was a thing that was, I can't remember who used to say it. In one of the movies, one of the mobsters walks in and asks everybody in the ballroom there, is everybody happy? Well, I would venture, if you asked that question today, I would say no. Not necessarily. Not with some of the things that have been happening. And hopefully we're going to have some positive changes here in Florida. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come about, because we've had some very stagnant relations here in Florida, and as a result of that, people have been irresponsible with the way that they've been handling certain things, and one of those is the discharges of Lake Okeechobee. So I'm looking forward to that. We have tens of thousands of baby fish being released. We have people like Betty with Ladies Let's Go Fishing sharing her experiences. We have people like Angela, who is a guide down in the Keys, who'll take you out and you tell her what you want. She'll do her best to get it for you. And I can tell you she's pretty much on the money. Angela, I want to go after wahoo. She'll take you to the areas where the wahoos are running. She's got the right kind of experience to bring them up. Always a pleasure to have people like that on. People working with people. That's how we make I don't want to get political. That's how America becomes great. It's not, not to take away anything from the president, but it is the people. The people are what's going to make the country great. And I believe that we're on that track again. And things like we do here on this show helps to keep us on that track by keeping the family together. The backbone of this country is the American family. Been a pleasure and a privilege to have you here listening with me. Thank you so very much. Be back in a week.